Yes, guys, what's going on? So, in this video, I'm going to talk about how to train to build maximal muscle because at the end of the day, guys, like following your nutrition plan, doing your steps, doing your cardio, doing all the other things that you need to do to progress, don't don't really compare to how important your training is. Like your training is absolutely everything. And if you can nail your training, you will progress at such a fast rate. You'll see huge changes within your physique. You really will. Like I say, following a diet plan is one thing, and let's say weight. If you're in a fat loss phase, you can drop some body weight following a diet plan and not really training efficiently. But if you really do train hard and you train properly in a gaining phase, you're going to build a hell of a lot more muscle, and in a dieting phase as well, you're going to get to your goal in terms of your levels of body fat at a much faster rate. So training is just so important, and as I said, if you can nail that, it's game over. You'll see your physique really start to shift. So the first slide on this webinar is you are not Arnie or Ronnie Coleman or Jay Cutler. Whenever I give out a tip whenever I make a reel or post something on Instagram, I get loads of people saying, "Oh, but Arnie did this, Jay did that, Ronnie did this." But you got to understand, these guys are a genetic elites. Genetic elites. You most likely are not a genetic elite. Like I'm not a genetic elite. Like 99.9% of the population aren't either. So copying these guys is just the wrong way to go about things. You must you must understand that these guys can grow muscle just looking at a dumbbell rack. So although they had great physiques and they made unreal progress, like the way they did things is most likely not going to work for you. So I did want to bring up that point at the start of this video, just to make that clear. Now, how do we actually build muscle? Let's just start with the basics. So it's as simple as this. We go in the gym, we break that muscle down, we then recover through our nutrition and our sleep. That muscle grows back bigger and stronger, and then we go again. And we continuously break it down. It builds back up, break it down, builds back up, and it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So that is just the basics of how we build muscle. Next is the absolute king for building muscle mass, and that is progressive overload. If you want to build muscle at the fastest way, you must implement a progressive overload style of training, which essentially means to do more than you did on the previous session. So you need to do more in order to cause a new stimulus that the muscle isn't used to, that it can then adapt to and grow from. So whether that be you do more reps than your previous session, you do more weight. Let's say you go into the gym and you're training chest and you do a bench press, you do 60 kg for 8 reps. The next time you go into the gym and you're on the bench press, you need to be doing 9 reps, 10 reps, or you need to be doing 70 kg. So either more reps or more weight. And the way you do implement a progressive overload style of training properly is by tracking. You must track. Lots of people say, I have people tell me that they just remember. You don't remember. You're not going to remember every single set, every single number. And with progressive overload, accuracy is fundamental. You must be accurate. So I take a notepad and pen into the gym and I write down all my lifts. And I get so much enjoyment out of it as well. You get so much fulfillment walking out the gym, knowing that you're stronger, knowing that you're beating your numbers. So please either track on your phone or a notepad and pen. I think tracking on your phone is not a great idea because you can get distracted on your phone. Hence why I don't do it. But yeah, you must implement a progressive overload style of training. So if you're not doing that already, that is number one for you to start doing straight away. Now, frequency is also incredibly important. The more times you hit a muscle, the more it will grow. It's as simple as that. So, of course, like recovery does have a massive part in this. Like you must be recovered going into every session. But the aim of the game is to hit that muscle as frequently as possible over the week in a recovered state. And again, that is why at the start of this slide, the title was Fuck the Bro Split. Because the Bro Split, you're only training one muscle. You're only training a muscle, chest, back, shoulders, whatever it is, once a week. So once a week just isn't enough. Why train it once a week when you can train it 2 or 3 times a week? It's key. It's absolutely key. Frequency is so important. So you want to ensure that you are, whatever weaknesses you have or muscles you're looking to bring up, or if you're just looking to bring up your whole physique, you need to be hitting your muscles as often as possible over the week. And that is exactly how steroids work. That is how steroids make you huge, make you big, make you grow muscle at a much faster rate, because they enable you to recover faster, which means you can then hit that muscle again a lot sooner than if you weren't to take steroids. It's all down to your recovery, and it's all down to hitting that muscle as often as you can over the week. So frequency is really important, something that you must consider. Next up is training experience. So again, referring back to Arnie, Ronnie, and Jay at the start of this webinar, these guys are incredibly experienced and they have a huge amount of muscle mass on their frame. Now, the more developed you are, the more volume you need to then grow even more. So let's say, I don't know, Ronnie, for example. Ronnie might need 8 sets on his biceps to cause enough stimulus for them to grow even bigger. But a newbie to the gym, a beginner, might only need 1 or 2 sets to cause that stimulus that they need to grow. So training experience has a big, it plays a big role in devising your split as well. Because again, going back to the bro split, you don't need that amount of volume. If you're training a bro split and you're, let's say, doing chest one day for chest, you're probably going to do a huge amount of sets as you're dedicating a whole day to it, which is just not necessary. So why dedicate a whole day to chest doing 10 sets when you only need 3? When really you could put chest, shoulders, triceps all in that day and just give that, and every single muscle will have enough stimulus to then grow. And obviously with that, you'll then be able to create more frequency within the week because you are training more muscles at the same time. So training experience it's so important. And we'll go into the training splits next. So let's look at the training splits here. So we've got upper lower, we've got push pull legs, and a bro split. Now, if you are a beginner, like I said, you don't need much volume per muscle to grow. Therefore, it makes complete sense to group as many muscle groups together in a day because they don't need much volume, therefore they don't need much time, and you can get so much done within a day. For example, grouping all of these muscle groups together on upper, same with lower, train them, go home, recover, come back, and you can end up hitting those muscles up to 3 times a week, really. And with that, you're going to see so much growth. Whereas as you get more and more developed, you need more and more volume. So that's going to take more and more time, of course, and then it will be sensible to translate into a push-pull leg split. So which is the best training split for you? Now, based on everything I've said in this webinar, you probably have a pretty good idea. But it all comes down to how advanced you are. That is the main thing. If you are a beginner, as I said, upper, lower. If you are more advanced, it'll be most likely push-pull legs. And if you're super advanced, you're probably not watching this webinar. But that would potentially be a bro split or, again, push-pull legs. Also, which body parts you want to bring up as well. Because going back to the training splits here, let's say you were on a push-pull leg split, but you wanted to bring up your biceps a little bit more or your triceps. You could then tag on to legs a little bit of bicep work or a little bit of tricep work. And then again, you're just increasing that frequency over the week. So you're allowing, obviously with ensuring that you are recovered, and that'll be down to your volume as well, and making sure that your volume's in a suitable place, and you're not doing too much volume. Because as soon as you start doing too much volume, you're not going to be able to have that frequency there. So you need to get it absolutely perfect. There is a fine balance. But as I said, if you want to bring up your arms, you could throw it into legs. You could do like legs and arms as well, and tag them onto push and pull. Little things like that. So these aren't sort of the exact splits you need to follow. Like bringing up weak body parts does have a role in it as well, and you can sort of adapt these splits slightly. Also, how many days can you train in a week? That's another big one. If you can only train 4 times a week, then upper lower is going to be much more suited to you. If you can train a little bit more than that and you are more advanced, then push pull legs might be a lot better for you. How long can you train for as well? Again, if you don't have much time to train, then doing an upper lower might be a little bit more tricky, fitting it all in, because they are quite big sessions. So again, push-pull legs could be more suited to you. I'm just running through different questions and just trying to help you decide which is the best for you and more suited for you, because there are quite a few things that come into play. Now, let's talk about the most important part of developing your physique and building a ton of muscle mass, and that is intensity. That is intensity. It is the most important thing. Like, you must be emptying the tank every single set. You must be causing an adaptation for your muscles to grow to or grow from. Like, at the end of the day, if we were meant to have a lot of muscle on us, we would fall out of the womb muscular, wouldn't we? And what happens when you stop training? What happens if you stop training for, I don't know, 4 weeks? You start losing muscle mass because your body doesn't want to hold all this excess weight. It will do anything and everything it can to get rid of it. So because of that, we need to do anything and everything we can to put it on. And that means training seriously hard, emptying the tank, going to true muscular failure every single set. Is just vital. That obviously coupled with perfect execution. And the reason I left execution on it off of this webinar is because that is just a standard thing. Like, you've got to be performing your exercises with immaculate form and intensity. With immaculate form and all out intensity, you will grow like an absolute weed. So I've got a few of the guys here that I've been working with over the last few years. We've got Stuart, we've got Christian, and we've got Jake. Now, all of these guys didn't have a clue about training before coming on board with me. They weren't implementing progressive overload. Their splits were all over the place. They weren't doing the right training splits. And as soon as we nailed that, as you can see, their physiques absolutely blew up. They made incredible progress. But like I said at the start of this webinar, it's because training is so important. It's absolutely vital. So please take it seriously. And if you have your training split perfect, you have your execution on point, your intensity on point, you're training with a progressive overload style of training, you will morph. You'll absolutely morph. You'll see a physique change on a weekly basis. Obviously, assuming you have your nutrition on point as well. But yeah, guys, I am offering a free discovery call to anyone watching this webinar. If you're stuck at the moment, you're struggling with your progress, you're not seeing the results that you want to see, you've got questions about training, nutrition, you're not sure you've got everything on point, you're second guessing yourself, then my advice to you would be, don't wait. Get help. Get help from someone who knows what they're doing. You'll get a plan in place, and that is when the game absolutely changes. So yeah, that discovery call is free, completely free, zero obligation to join my team on the call. Obviously, of course, I want to work with you, but there is zero obligation to join my team, and the least you'll get is a roadmap for yourself moving forward, some advice, and yeah, you can go from there. But I look forward to hearing from you. I'll drop the link in the description under this video, and yeah, speak to you soon.